Hi, good morning, everybody. This week I had a couple of interesting cases where I've had to use the same kind of technique to help people through their frontline workers through some enormous anxiety. And I thought I would share these couples of cases that one was in our mentoring group and the other was another case I was working on. And so what's happening is that a normal kind of anxiety and fear is sitting in our frontline workers' bodies, of course. So in one of the cases, it was a remote community, and the person had to go out and work with families, and they had an outbreak, a COVID outbreak, which is happening in many, many small communities out there. And of course, this healthcare worker wanted to continue to go out there, even though there was this huge buildup of anxiety and worry. And it was a big worry more than anything for this person. It was a worry, along with the knowing that she was still going to continue to do the work, to go out there and help the families. So that the urge to serve and to help is bigger than the worry, but the worry is overwhelming that healthcare worker and that frontline worker. And I know this is familiar to many of you that are out there serving, and we need to continue to serve. It's what we do. And so and the other case I was working on was similar, like, but it was so bad that the client was hyperventilating with this fear, this anxiety. And it's kind of like a pandemic fear when you have to work that close to the pandemic, right? You're in relationship with your community, and you're in relationship with this pandemic too. And if that takes up so much space in your body, it's very, very hard to take good care of yourself in the face of that. So what I had in both cases, similar kinds of techniques, and that is that go into your body, notice where that fear is, and notice how the body is experiencing that kind of warning signal about the COVID. And in both cases, these women were not regressing. So it wasn't as if there was triggered old history there too. It's just the normal today terror. It's now, it's not, it's lived and living. It's not necessarily, if there was regression, there'd be a flashback in the room. But in these two cases, it's very current, and that is a very real worry. So I had them find that in their bodies and see if they could set that beside them, so that it was, because it is a collective worry. We're all worried. And if you're a frontline worker, you're especially worried, right? So both women were able to put, well, one woman was easily able to put it beside her. And we'll talk about the other woman in a minute. And to just bring it down to size beside her, because that's not something you're getting rid of. That's not something that's going away right now while the pandemic is as it is. That's something you need to uh, live beside, so that could be beside you, so that you still have you available to go do the work, right? So connect and protect. You need to connect with it and put it beside you so that you still have all your space and your room to go about your business and do the helping, the service you're wanting to do. And she was able to just put her arm around that and let that be over there. The other woman that I was working with wasn't quite so able. She did not want to separate from this worry. Um, and I wondered, what was she holding on? What was underneath that she couldn't set that aside? And so I asked her to, if she could, she said, I don't want to let it go. I don't want it. No, I'm not putting that beside me. So I asked her to, if she could just put it beside her for 30 seconds so we could see what's underneath it. There's a reason she doesn't want to let go of it, right? And not putting that beside me. So and she did agree to put it beside her for 30 seconds. We can come and put it back, I told her. We can put that back, that worry all back there. You can have that up front. But let's just see what's underneath it, that you're wanting so much to hold on to it so tightly. And so she was able to set it down, knowing that it was a temporary set down, just to get a sense of what's underneath there. And when she got underneath there, it was there indeed was something that was worse than that. She didn't want to look at the worst of it. That was almost like a shield to what was even worse underneath that. So, so once we were able to put that down, then she was able to to notice in, find the worst thing, the worst of it. I don't want to give her story away, but the worst of it was worse than that. And then we attended to that worst thing, that worst thing, and let that have some life too. And it was a life issue that's current in her life that is worse, worse than the worry of the pandemic. And then we were able to, once she understood that what was under there was even worse, and she could sit with the worst of it in an adult way, and we could attend to the bigger, worse situation, and let that be. Then she was able to keep that worry thing beside her. And again, I don't want to give her story away, but to know that when there is this big anxiety and this big worry, it's normal right now. And if it's not regressed, there are things we can do to set it beside us. If people won't set it beside them, there's likely something under there that even needs more attention, and that's something uh, can be even bigger than, because we all often will put even trauma to divert from something in today's world that's too hard to be with. So her personal, this woman's personal stuff was just too hard to be with. It was easier to just put that pandemic on top of her. That worry piece is easier than having to deal with, oh God, what the bigger piece underneath there. So it's kind of layered, right? But I just want to tell everybody we are in a pandemic, and that we are collectively carrying that worry, and that's, we can't just send that away. It's real. We need to set it beside ourselves, and be able to respect it, and honor it, and just be kind to it, so that we have space to go do the things we need to do, and we need to continue to do, because we are saving lives out there right now. We have to continue to do that. So um, I'm not trying to help people not go to work right now. That's not my intention. We need to be able to go to work right now, but we need to be able to do that in a way that isn't tearing ourselves down quite so much. I don't know if this is helpful. These are just my thoughts this morning, and I thought I should share them. Bye for now.